Welcome to Science Sonic channel. My name is Anna Wilson. I am podcaster of this channel. A man whose hand had been amputated has been able to feel the texture of different surfaces using a bionic fingertip, developed by scientists from a collection of European institutions. The device, which is described in a new study in the journal eLife, represents a major step forward within the field of prosthetic technologies and could lead to the development of new artificial limbs that mimic the functionality of real body parts. The mechanical fingertip consists of sensors that, when moved over a rough surface, generate electrical impulses that mimic the firing patterns of SA1 afferents, which are the sensory neurons found in human fingers. Researchers connected the device to the amputee's median nerve, which runs down the arm, using electrodes. In doing so, they enable the signals generated by the bionic fingertip to be delivered to the subject's brain via the median nerve, producing a sensory experience almost identical to the feeling of actually touching a rough surface. After the experiment, the amputee participant Dennis Abo Sorensen explained that the stimulation felt almost like what I would feel with my hand, adding that I felt the texture sensations at the tip of the index finger of my phantom hand. Using the device, Sorensen was able to tell whether the surfaces were rough or smooth, with an accuracy rate of 96%. The researchers also connected the fingertip to the median nerves of several non-amputees and found that they too experienced sensory stimulation resembling the feeling of running their finger over a surface. Non-amputees could distinguish between rough and smooth textures 77% of the time. To test whether the impulses generated by the device really did activate the same neuronal circuits that the SA1 afferents of the human hand do, researchers used electroencephalography (EEG) to monitor the brain activity of non-amputees when using the appliance and when actually touching a rough surface. EEG readings were highly similar in both scenarios, suggesting that the bionic fingertip genuinely does stimulate the brain in the same way as natural fingertips. While more research is required before the technology can be incorporated into prosthetic limbs, the study authors are hopeful that devices such as theirs could be used to dramatically improve amputees' quality of life. A species of giant reed is unique in the plant kingdom, growing with a speed only matched by plants that use a very different method of photosynthesis. For the first time, we have some answers on how Aerondodonax achieves its efficiency. This may offer researchers pointers in making more efficient use of sunlight and water. There are three pathways, known as CAM, C3, and C4, in which plants use sunlight to combine carbon dioxide and water into the sugar that forms their energy store. Most plants have an efficiency of just 3 to 6%, so even small improvements matter a lot. C3 is the simplest and by far the most common form, but C4 plants are more efficient in hot conditions or when water is in short supply. C4 grasses can lose half as much water as C3 grasses grown under the same conditions and grow much faster. In this context, Aerondodonax represents a puzzle. The Mediterranean reed is a C3 plant that sucks down carbon dioxide as fast as a C4. In one side-by-side trial, it comfortably outgrew the famously productive C4 elephant grass, Miscanthus giganteus. A team at the University of Illinois set out to see how it does this. According to senior author Professor Stephen Long, the first step was to confirm, contrary to some speculation, that Aerondodonax really does use C3. It has all the properties of C3 photosynthesis and none of those of C4, Long said in a statement. Another theory Long disproved is that Aerondodonax achieves this growth by consuming huge amounts of water. Giant reed is a deep-rooting plant, so it's able to get plenty of water. But it's not using that water any less efficiently than other C3 plants, Long said. Part of the answer is that while most plants are adapted to either shade or direct sun, Aerondodonax performs well in both. The lower leaves are producing a lot of chlorophyll to capture what light is getting to them, and the plant is using that at maximum efficiency, said Long. The plant manages to transport electrons through its leaves unusually fast and has very high activity of rubisco, the enzyme used to catalyze photosynthesis in C3 and C4 plants. The work did not, however, explain why other plants have not replicated Adonax's impressive capacities. Understanding Adonax's success is important both because we might want to use it directly as a carbon-neutral fuel, but also in case its attributes prove transferable to other plants. Rice is being genetically engineered to use the C4 pathway for faster growth. Other researchers have sought even more exotic ways of supercharging photosynthesis with genes from blue-green algae. If similar potential exists in C3 plants, it might be easier to transfer to major food crops. Traditional crossbreeding techniques, however, will probably not be able to spread Adonax's useful genes. The paper notes that its spread has not involved hybridization with the related species, suggesting this really is a read apart. The Hydra is best known as an ancient fearsome beast, a terrifying, multi-headed monster belonging to the mythical realm. Biologists, however, know it is a real-life tentacle-wielding organism that is arguably immortal, one that can genetically modify its cells in order to survive. A new study in Biophysical Journal only serves to make this bizarre critter even stranger. Although it's long been known that it opens its mouth by ripping apart its own skin, precisely how it does this on a cellular level remained a mystery. Now, a team of researchers from University of California, San Diego have discovered that instead of just rearranging its cells to accomplish this unusual feat, the cells themselves stretch in order to self-destruct. The Hydra belongs to a large grouping of animals, phylum, called the cnidarians, which includes jellyfish, sea anemones and corals. Each share a set of specialized prey capture cells known as cnidocytes, but Hydra have a set of characteristics that easily make them stand out from the pack. In particular, thanks to their incredible regenerative capabilities, they can theoretically live forever. In fact, they can grow back from nothing more than a fragment of a tentacle. They also spend most of their life motionless, moving rapidly, using somersaults, no less, only when their planktonic prey drift past. It's been observed that, when they've got a grip on their hapless prey, they tear open their outer layer in order to fashion a mouth. When they're done consuming their miniature meal, their new mouth closes up, healed by the Hydra's remarkable cellular regeneration. Previously, scientists have thought that, in order to create this temporary mouth, they would have to rearrange the cells between its tentacles in order to create an area that could expand into an opening. This new study's research team decided to use genetically modified specimens of the Hydra vulgaris species in order to find out once and for all how it opens its mouth. The Hydra vulgaris opening its mouth. Its ectoderm is glowing green, while its endoderm is highlighted in magenta. The scale bar is 200 micrometers long. Carter and Highland et al. Biophysical Journal. These GM Hydra have two fluorescent tags, one for the outer layer, ectoderm, and one for the inner layer, endoderm. This tagging allows the researchers to see how the two cell layers move with respect to each other, as well as letting them see how individual cells are behaving. By looking at how these tagged Hydras feed, they realized that no cellular rearrangement was occurring. Instead, parts of the animal's ectodermal cells called myonemes act as muscles, stretching part of the ectoderm until the cells tear themselves apart. This process can take only 13 seconds to complete, which is relatively rapid for a creature of such a diminutive size. Hydra's ability to regenerate is considered to be extremely ancient, something that first appeared when more specialized cells, those responsible for vision, for example, hadn't yet evolved. Essentially, these aquatic curiosities have remained physiologically simple in order to keep their ability to rapidly heal, without which their self-destructive feeding mechanism would probably not exist.